After the kiss that happened when they were still children, the news quickly spread. Rikimaru ended up becoming isolated and couldn't go to school anymore. His parents blamed Kyou for everything, even though Rikimaru had also said he wanted to kiss him. The news spread throughout the classroom and Kyou was blamed by his classmates for making Rikimaru stop going to school. Eventually, the twins' father decided that the family should move to another place. Kyou felt very guilty for everything that had happened and apologized to his father. However, the father didn't repress his son's feelings and supported him. He knew that his daughter also liked Rikimaru and that if both of them liked the same person, they would need to have a good conversation. Returning to the present, Kagami was learning to cook. Kyou arrived home and, quite bluntly, got straight to the point with his sister. First, he asked if she had really broken up with Rikimaru. She replied that she had, but mentioned that she had received a gift from him and was probably thinking about getting back together. What she didn't expect was to hear from her brother's own mouth that he also loved Rikimaru. Kagami tried to say that it wouldn't happen because Rikimaru still liked her. Kyou revealed the harsh truth. Only he could touch Rikimaru, and they could do everything that a couple does together, something Kagami couldn't. Kyou made it clear that there was a possibility Kagami didn't really love Rikimaru and was doing all of this just to get back at her brother, like she did in the past when she probably spread the rumor in the classroom when they were children. It could be out of envy, since her brother, as she said, was much better at everything, or simply because she couldn't truly make Rikimaru fall in love with her. Rikimaru was content with what he had done that day, happy to have been able to touch Kagami and give her the hairpin. Kyou appeared shortly after and received his friend's thanks for doing everything to help him. Rikimaru knew he had something important to say. Kyou was a bit reserved at first, but then opened up and said he was very happy that they had gone out together after such a long time, and even happier that it felt like a couple's date. Rikimaru knew where his friend was going with that conversation. Finally, he offered to listen to Kyou's feelings, who, with many tears, ended up saying that he didn't even know why he liked Rikimaru so much, but that he loved him. Kyou cried a lot and received a hug from his friend, who was already apologizing and saying that, unfortunately, his love would not be reciprocated in the same way because he liked Kagami. The two cried together for a while until they calmed down now. Rikimaru brought something warm for them to drink together, and while they were talking on the balcony, he was surprised by Kyou's determination. Kyou said he would not give up and would try to make him change his mind. All of the tears that Rikimaru also shed had a meaning, and Kyou knew that he asked for a week. If he succeeded, Rikimaru would have to go on a date with him. Meanwhile, Kagami didn't seem to be doing well. The next day, the three of them were ready to go to school, and Rikimaru noticed that Kagami wasn't wearing the hairpin. She seemed strange, and soon asked what Rikimaru had said in response to Kyou's declaration. Kyou mentioned the time they had agreed upon. Kagami started laughing hysterically and made a joke, arguing that they were two men. Rikimaru was paralyzed by her reaction, but ended up defending Kyou and telling her not to mock other people's feelings. Kagami told him to hurry up because if he yelled, everyone at school could hear. The three of them walked together as if nothing had happened. Rikimaru reflected on the side of his girlfriend that he didn't know but still thought Kagami was a good person. After school, Rikimaru went to the twins' house and found Kyou with a pair of scissors in his hand, which made him quite startled, thinking that Kyou was going to do something bad. Kyou was just cutting his hair a little because the weather was very hot and also because his heart was broken. Rikimaru imagined that Kyou was probably very shocked by what had happened that morning, but Kyou said it didn't matter much. Rikimaru admired how well Kyou could handle life's difficulties, unlike himself, who still had a big problem to solve. Kyou suggested that he seek help from some friends or people who understood him, just as he did with his personal and virtual friends, or his father. Of all the people, he didn't mention his sister's name. Then Rikimaru noticed that he had stepped on something. It was the hairpin he had given to Kagami. We are taken back once again to the past when Rikimaru first met the twins and how they grew up together over time. Sometime later, on Valentine's Day, Kyou told Kagami that he liked Rikimaru and planned to confess his feelings, asking if his sister could help him. What he didn't expect was for her to do exactly the opposite. Before he could continue expressing what really bothered him about Kagami, she appeared. Rikimaru said they needed to talk, but she claimed she had nothing to hear from him. She insisted that he was stringing both of them along and had the audacity to say that Rikimaru was acting exactly like their father, even though they had broken up. It was still similar to cheating. Kyou was about to say something, but was interrupted by Rikimaru, who asked them both to calm down. He suggested that the solution to this impasse was to understand each other's feelings since he liked Kagami and Kyou liked him. They needed to talk, but Kagami was not willing to. With a serious expression, she left, saying, "See you tomorrow at school." The next day, one of Rikimaru's worst nightmares came true. The whole class was abuzz with a message written by Kagami on the board. Rikimaru was devastated even though his friends said they didn't believe it. To make matters worse, another rumor spread, claiming that Rikimaru was afraid of women. Kyou saw everything, but his other friend advised him not to intervene, as it might make things worse. It didn't take long for their classmates to start connecting the dots and realize that Rikimaru was never seen with girls, besides the time he fell in the middle of the classroom to avoid being touched. After some time, Rikimaru went to Kyou's classroom to see how he was doing. Kyou said he was fine, and his friends joined the conversation and introduced themselves. Rikimaru noticed that Kyou had good friends by his side who would support him no matter what. The same could not be said for Rikimaru, who was still afraid of what might happen next. Kagami was in her classroom, quite calm, until one of Kyou's friends appeared, aggressively kicking her desk and demanding that she come with him to talk in private. The boy asked if she was the one who had written that on the board. Kagami's response was to ask if he knew how Kyou had reacted. Kagami didn't seem at all concerned about whether she had hurt her boyfriend's feelings. The only thing she wanted to talk about was Kyou. She assumed that Kyou's friend was probably in love with him, since everyone admired Kyou for his great personality. She asked if he wanted to become Kyou's true lover, or if he preferred to stay with a fake, like her. Kagami said she could become Kyou and go out with him, as they had the same fate. Kyou's friend was disgusted by Kagami's attitude and kicked her. Kagami said she wouldn't be content being just a fake and decided she would become the real Kyou. It was all clear now. She didn't really care for her boyfriend. Everything was about attacking her brother. Rikimaru was not doing well. He had disappeared and was alone in a corner of the school until two of his friends came to join him for lunch. When asked where the other friend was, they said he had already eaten. Rikimaru knew this was probably a lie. The two friends beside him seemed to be good at pretending until one of them couldn't hold it in and asked Rikimaru what was going on, as he just wanted to understand so he could help. Rikimaru didn't want to say anything because he thought no one would understand him. In the end, the two friends left, not just because of what had happened, but also due to Rikimaru's lack of trust. He felt alone, betrayed, and abandoned by the people he cared about and trusted. At that moment, he was sad and wanted to see his friend Kyou. First of all, I would like to thank all the channel subscribers and also those who watched the first part of the video and subscribed. Thank you very much. Unfortunately, this manga hasn't had any more updates. It was quite short, but very good. The revelation that the sister was a crazy psychopath was really intense. Seriously, I really thought she was going to do something bad to her brother. In fact, in a way she did. This was the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you to those who stayed until the end. Don't forget that if you like the content, you can make a donation and have a video promoted. The links are in the description. Also, don't forget to comment and tell me what you thought of the video. I also want to apologize for the delay, but unfortunately, it's the best I can do at the moment. More videos like this will come in the future. That's it, and thank you.